You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show podcast on KPEL965.com.
The Fox Business Report is brought to you by Gulf Coast Bank, your local community bank. Whether your financial needs are for an individual, a business, or for the whole family, Gulf Coast Bank has the knowledge and products to serve you best. With 9 convenient locations throughout Acadiana, you're never far from a friendly Gulf Coast Bank associate.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Private businesses hired a lot fewer people this month than analysts were expecting. According to the report from payroll processor ADP, 107,000 people found jobs versus the 145,000 expected. Pay also fell a bit from last month, and December's hires also got revised downward. And Visa is being sued by consumers who accuse it of failing to make some prepaid gift cards less vulnerable to thieves who carry out a scam known as card draining. According to the complaint, the non-reloadable debit cards can be opened by thieves who record the account information, then reseal the card without being detected. Thieves then monitor a website to learn when money's been loaded and make purchases using the stolen account information. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lillian Wu, invested in you.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at An.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Studios.
They're among the most powerful people in the world. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. CEOs of some social media companies, from Meta to X to TikTok, on Capitol Hill right now for a Senate hearing into child safety. Mary Rohde will attend it. Her son Riley committed suicide in 2021 after she tells Fox what a criminal who befriended the 15-year-old did on Facebook Messenger.
Send him child sexual abuse material, get him to send it in return, and then threaten him for money, scaring him to death.
Fox's Aisha Hasni's at the Capitol.
You're going to expect these executives to tout their new tools and their policies that aim to protect kids. For example, X has been boasting that it suspended 12 million accounts last year, and it also increased its trust and safety staff. But that's not going to be good enough for senators like Blackburn and Blumenthal. They co-authored the Kids Online Safety Act. It increases transparency and accountability for these social media companies.
Now, next hour, the FBI director will testify at a House hearing about the threat China keeps posing. Christopher Wray will tell lawmakers hackers are targeting water treatment plants, the electric grid, and other important infrastructure in the U.S. Last night, House Republicans in a committee led by Congressman Mark Green voted to advance articles of impeachment against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, blaming him for record illegal immigration.
We cannot allow this border crisis to continue. We cannot allow fentanyl to flood across our border, our criminals to waltz in undeterred.
Democrats call it a sham that'll hit a dead end at the Senate. President Biden plans to travel next month to East Palestine, Ohio, where Saturday it'll be 1 year since a toxic train derailment. DJ Yoakley owns a business there and says, what took so long? He tells Fox the president will find empty buildings and some people have left East Palestine.
Not because they wanted to, but because they didn't feel safe, and they don't know what the repercussions are going to be years from now.
America's listening to Fox News.
Markets are trembling. Don't be a casualty of economic upheaval. Do what I did and embrace the safety of gold. Talk to the experts at Noble Gold Investments today, and you can claim a free 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin. With gold at an all-time high, you need to jump on this. Just use the promo code GOLD. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Looking for top-notch personal protection? The Smith & Wesson Equalizer is here to level the playing field. Easy to rack slide, easy to control ergonomic grip. It's designed for you. With a 10, 13, and 15-round magazine included, size up for better control or size down for easier concealment. Don't miss out on the opportunity to upgrade your safety. Visit your local dealer now. To learn more about the Equalizer, visit smith-wesson.com. Smith & Wesson, empowering Americans. All capacity sizes may not be available in your jurisdiction.
Your drive time is live and local. Hey, folks, it's me, Joe Cunningham, and my show, The Joe Cunningham Show, airs every day from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. You can get it all. News and commentary you can't get from anywhere else on the local, state, and national level, plus your calls and your comments through our KPEL app chat. It's a fun drive home here on The Joe Cunningham Show, News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
The YMCA is just a starting line. For the true self blooms only when we find our purpose, what makes us tick below the surface. Y is the before work hustle, an after school home, a section of my block, a corner to call my own. With my Y, I stand strong, seen and supported all along. It's a million faces in a mirror and everyone belongs. Find your why. Join today at ymca.org for a better us.
Bikers Against Child Abuse empowers children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. For more information, visit BACAworld.org. Our helpline is 866-885-9474. BACA, breaking the chains of abuse.
Dino's Pizza is like no other. It's family-owned and operated in the Acadiana area, serving the highest quality pizza on their signature crispy cracker-like crust. Make Dino's part of your family traditions, located at Bertrand and Collie Saloon.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hi, hello, welcome. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. Hump Day already as the year's flying by. Last day of the month. Wow, already in February, just about. Unbelievable how quick life. Like somebody said, a day can last forever, but a week and a month and a year, they fly by. And that's exactly what's happening. Anyway, great to have you with us. 844-766-6607 is the number. It's Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. Dr. Kevin Roberts, President and CEO of the Heritage Foundation, will join us coming out at 11 o'clock hour on the third hour today. So I'm looking forward to him on all his border stuff. We'll discuss some of that today as well. But just trying to get these guys that are watching this every day, the shenanigans at the border that we've been watching since Joe Biden's been in office. It's always been bad for a while. They turn it up a notch. And watching the left and the media try to defend the devil's advocate, slapping Mike Johnson and defending Joe Biden, letting all these people come across fentanyl drug deals. Next time if somebody loses a loved one to fentanyl, somebody ought to call the devil's advocate and let them know, thank y'all for supporting Joe Biden. Just let everybody come across. I ought to call them and ask them. Tell them, if somebody gets hurt in your family from an illegal coming across, call the advocate. They don't care. They think Mike Johnson and Trump and everybody's crazy about this, but it's because they haven't been hurt yet. It's amazing to watch. Anyway, we'll talk a little bit with him today and visit with that later on in the program. Now, a couple other issues dealing with the state first. Louisiana faces $64 million deficit next year. Governor looking for cuts in his first budget. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Governor Landry. The irresponsibility of Blank Page Cortez, Shady Shake Snyder, and Bell Edwards was absolutely on display the last 4 years. Just unbelievable, irresponsible, spending money we don't have, spending money with their buddies and friends. I look for all of them to make money on these budgets and money that they send out, especially Edwards. And so, folks, we have a problem, and I've discussed this 1,000 times. We've always had a spending problem in the state. We only care about state taxes, state money, federal money. This is it. And when you do that, you just keep running it up. Everybody's waiting for their share back home, and everybody's waiting for their share everywhere. And it's very important that Governor Landry, if he wants to get rid of the income tax, if he wants to get rid of the corporate taxes, if he wants to get rid of the income tax, we can't phase this stuff in over 50 years. I'm just telling y'all, it's not going to work. We're not going to catch up. We have to do some stuff, big steps, but you got the bureaucracy, the media will never understand it because they don't want to. So in other words, they don't have the capacity to understand because they're not open to understand what we have to do in the state. They're just not. They're not open to anything that changes our state in a better direction. They never have, they never will be. And it's hard for them to understand because their mind cannot comprehend something that they're not open to. It's just not. You know? My mind is no more. I'm like that too. My mind, when it comes to Green New Deal, I have a closed mind on it because I know it's a lie. I know it's a 100% lie, so I don't have to be open to it. I mean, I don't have to be open to the fact that a man can have a baby because it can't happen. In God's eyes, it can't happen. Science backs me up. Science backs me up on the Green New Deal. It's a lie. This planet was given to us by the grace of God, not by the grace of some stupid men and women who don't know what they're talking about, who make up stuff as they go, who have no hope in anything. I'm hard-headed too, but at least got the God and science behind me. The media and the devil's advocate people they don't have God or science behind them on anything. So when Jeff comes up and says, let's start getting our act together, they told us for 8 years how great Bell was, how much money we have, and how we took a $2 billion budget deficit, which was a lie, and made it into a $3.2 billion surplus, which was a lie. All federal money, COVID money. All it was COVID and some hurricanes. Now, there's some legitimate people that need that money to get back on their feet. But all that stuff got into the coffers because what happens is if you got a house blown out and you have to build a house, then all of a sudden people are back at work. You need a new air conditioning, you need a new roof. It causes the economy to grow, but it's short-lived and it's not permanent and it's not lasting. People, you can't tell that to somebody in Africa. They don't have the brain power to understand that. They think God is government. God is big G. Government is the littlest G you can find. And so when Jeff comes along, and I know this is what he needs to do out the gate. We need to see what's going on with our money. So I think you're smart as you know what to say, look, we got a budget deficit, and it's going to be a bigger one if we want to get rid of the 0.45 cent sales tax, so we won't have one of the one or two, wherever we rated in sales taxes, highest in the country. Which should have never been put on us at the beginning, but Bill Edwards and some Republicans like Paula Pelosi Davis, Sheikh Snyder, and Blank Page, they decided, oh, man, it's okay to raise taxes. Although some of that was done before those two came in. Paula Pelosi Davis, a big lip. But boy, she got to wear that R by name because she can't win in her district. She could never win in her district. If she had to run and say who she is, which is a Democrat. So he comes along, and of course, they freaked out on him the first time he said this because they went back. Well, Bill left us with another $180 million next year because they want to spend everything we got coming in. So one of the key things of this, and I was glad, I am really tickled to death and happy and proud to have Ralph Abraham running the DOT, the Health and Hospitals. Louisiana Department of Health Secretary Ralph Abraham. Okay? Medicaid forecast is higher than projected because of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid service charge. Ralph Abraham, he ran for governor. He's a doctor. He was a congressman. Told lawmakers he hopes to see somewhat, you ready, of a seismic change in the way we operate. Folks, I have been informed by people inside and out how bad health and hospitals has been in the state for so long, and that a lot of the money being wasted was right there through that department. Now, I'm hoping and praying with the leadership of Governor Landry and Ralph Abraham as secretary, Louisiana Department of Health, he's the secretary, will get to the bottom of what we doing with all this money. I hope they come up with big savings in that department because I think they can. And I think Bill Edwards and them use this as a spendthrift. But you don't know that because people are the devil's advocate. People like them that call themselves journalists and reporters, they only are reporting on things they want to report on. Well, that's what you do. No, I watch what they all say. They're wrong on so much. So Ralph Abraham, to Dr. Abraham, I pray that Doc Abraham would do the job that I think he can do and point to the problems, and the problems are going to start with money in that department. He said we need somewhat of a seismic change in the way we operate. Doc Abraham hadn't been on a job but a month or less than a month. He already sees the big changes that he's got to do to make this work out. Now, Doc understands federal money. He understands what's going on in that department because that department takes more federal money than it does anything else. And I'm hoping and staying upbeat that Ralph Abraham is going to do what's right. I know him. I think he will do what's right. And I think he's doing what's right by saying we need a seismic change in the way we operate, and the way we've been operating under Bell is wrong and bad. And I believe he's going to find that. He says the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services required that specific issues be fixed. Well, that means they were broke under Bell, but Bell didn't care, and the media didn't care. The media will care now that Jeff Landry's in there because all they're going to try to do is find out what Jeff's doing wrong, but they never did that with Bell Edwards. They never stood up and said, hey, let's go see what they're doing, because they looked the other way because that Bell was their boy. Bell hurt us. He hurt us so many places. Ralph Abraham said there's CMS mandate that certain patients have to be rolled off because of the COVID emergency is now a non-emergency issue. Landry's order stated that the agency's November 1 budget request should include identified savings. State agencies must review spending, contracts, and staffing to see what can be eliminated or reduced to cut costs. His first budget will be presented February 9th. Folks, I'm telling you, if Jeff is put, and I pray he has, put the right people like Ralph Abraham in charge, Taylor Barra, some of these guys and ladies that we know will be conservative, he can do this, and this is the best way to start for the state. Let's go find out where we are, what rules are not being followed, what money's being spent we don't have to spend, what contracts can be canceled. There's got to be a way to do it where it doesn't cost so much to operate in the state of Louisiana. Then, when they find, I think, billions of dollars of operating money, they can give us back our income tax. They can cut the taxes we need. And what the advocate and people don't understand is when you create an environment for business to operate and grow, the private sector, they'll get more tax dollars than they're getting now. You can't talk to somebody in the media. They can't comprehend what I just said. They can't comprehend 1 + 1 is 2 because they're under Common Core math. Well, 1 + 1 might not be 2. That's the kind of mentality you have now. Man, I'm so pumped. I really am. You know, I come on here and I get on them a lot, but I'm excited about what Landry's trying to do with the budget and what Ralph Abraham could do in that one. And I tell you another one, DOTD. DOTD needs to start from the ground up and revamped. If we can do those two, it'd be gigantic. Gigantic for the state. Let's take a break. 844-766-6607. Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. Be right back. You know, when you're selling your home, you know, one of the most important things you can even consider is, does that person really care about you? You think, oh, they're selling everybody's home. Nicole Spellman Group, they really care about you as a person. They want you to sell your home because you know you want to be stress-free on this thing. And you can't get there if you don't have somebody you have confidence in. Nicole Spellman takes away the stress of selling your home. You know, you can say goodbye to the guesswork when it comes to selling your home if you go with Nicole Spellman Group. Why? They take the guesswork out of it. They have a system called a home value estimator. It's a game changer for sellers, no doubt about it. If you go to NicoleSpellmanGroup.com, right on the homepage under sellers, click on What's My Home Value? Enter your address and find out what your home is worth in 30 seconds. That's the value of using Nicole Spellman Group. You know, that's why I trust the number one team serving the entire state of Louisiana, the Nicole Spellman Group, to sell my home. Go online, NicoleSpellmanGroup.com, or just Google Nicole Spellman Group. When you think about how you'll spend your money in retirement, what comes to mind? Probably travel, sunny beaches, and spoiling your grandchildren. But a recent survey found that over 30% of every dollar a retiree spends goes to taxes. Baby boomers were told for years to save money in their IRAs and 401ks and pay taxes later. Well, now that day has arrived, and boomers are shocked to see a third of their money going back to Uncle Sam. John Blanchard and the Matthew James Financial Group can help. What if you could protect all or most of your retirement wealth from future tax rate increases? Achieve a zero or near zero effective tax rate for most of your retirement years. Find out more. 337-366-8366. Isn't it time you got a second opinion on your wealth and retirement outlook? Learn how you could potentially kick the IRS out of your IRA. 337-366-8366 and online at MatthewJames.com.
The IRS.
Hi, hello, welcome back. Great to have you with us. Hump Day on the Moon Griffon Show, 844-766-6607 if you'd like to be part of the program. When Edwards came in and started expanding Medicaid, and it was all about federal money, federal dollar. Everything was about federal money. I mean, it didn't matter what he expanded, it was federal money. Nobody watched it. Nobody saw what was happening. Nobody cared. We added all these people on Medicaid. They had people literally had jobs with insurance. They were paying a little bit more money, so they dropped that insurance to come to Medicaid because they could pay a whole lot less. Some cases, nothing. Or go on Obamacare, which, like I told y'all, when I got to watch a commercial and somebody say, I only pay $19 a month for my health care. I must be paying for yours. Why don't you do something about it? What do you want me to do about it? Quit my job? I saw that and I just said, man, they try to cripple somebody like me. I may only $20 a month for my health care on government.com, gov.com, healthcare, whatever the website is. I don't worry about the website because I don't get to use it. But I don't want to use it. I just don't want to have to pay $3,000 a month for a premium. It's not a matter of even being fair or not fair. It's the matter of somebody walking around and happy because they're on some kind of government gift. So I think the Ralph Abraham, I'm hoping and praying and I'm believing Ralph's going to look at this thing and go dollar for dollar and point by point and can give a report on what he can change in that department. And we'll see how much money was wasted. If they're willing to go on the limb and they're not going, well, we don't say too much because we can use the money. I'm saying the money that shouldn't probably be in that part. By the way, somebody always calls and go, tell me to get on Medicaid. I got my daughter on it. I get it. I didn't say Medicaid. Some of it wasn't good for people. People didn't need it. I never said that. Never said it at all. I get it. But we made it. We make it easy to be poor here. That's what we did. So DOTD is something else that I think that I don't even know and hadn't even looked. And somebody's ahead of the DOTD. I can't remember. Maybe somebody can send it to me. I think if you take DOTD and say, okay, because everybody talks about roads. And everybody wants to raise taxes on roads, but the people decided they didn't want any more taxes. And I told you, I don't know if I want any more taxes or not. Here's what I want. If you're willing to show me, and this ought to be criteria for building roads, the DOTD should break down how we spent the money in the last 30 years. And if they break it, down in the last 30 years and show us where all the money went so we can get an idea of what we're doing with the money, then I would I'd feel a little better about it. I may not feel good about it, but I'd feel better the fact that, okay, here's the mistakes we made. Follow me on this, folks. This is so simple. Even the advocate can follow this. If you tell me, here's what we did. We had X amount of dollars over the last 30 years, and here's where all the money went. Now we can find out why the money didn't go to certain places. Why did we spend it on that and not on this? Okay? But for you and me to give the Department of DOTD hundreds of millions or billions of dollars to spend, and we didn't know what they did the last 30 years, how do you know they won't take it and do the same thing they did the last 30 years, which was not to fix roads? This is simple Simon stuff. Even a good old boy network person can figure this out. I mean, hell, Stuart Little, very little bishop could figure this out. That's how easy it is. I'm not willing to give the Department of DOTD 1 penny more if they don't tell us what they did with the money. Folks, how simple is this? This is so easy. Here's what we did, okay? If we give you more money, how is that going to change? You said this was wrong, this was right, we need to put more money over here. That's fine. But if we don't know where the money is spent, how do we know they're going to spend the money in the proper places if you give them more? I use a simple example that somebody in the news media can understand. If I came home and my dad said, son, here's $100, go buy, these are the items, go get this for your mama, and it ought to cost you about $70, and I come back with only 1 or 2 items and I spend all the money, you think my dad can say, oh, I'm sorry, son. Don't worry about it. Here's another $100. See if you can buy the rest of the items. He's going to tear my rear end up. He wants to know, and then he's going, what did you do with the money? He ain't giving me another $100. Why would we give DOTD 1 penny more when we don't even know what's happening? I think the DOTD needs to do what Ralph Abraham's doing in health and hospitals. We'll take a break, be right back. Hey, folks, my friend at Schumacher Homes dedicated to making sure the custom home building is within reach for everyone. Your custom-built home. And Schumacher Homes does a great job of building custom homes. They're going to provide you with a dedicated team of specialists who give you choices and tools necessary to create your home and your dream home. The new year is a perfect time, right now, perfect time to take the first steps toward realizing your dream home. Schedule your free, no-obligation design and pricing meeting today by calling or visiting SchumacherHomes.com, SchumacherHomes.com, celebrating over 3 decades of crafting affordable custom homes. Schumacher Homes has always made it their goal to make the home building journey enjoyable, simple, and hassle-free. They're going to provide a devoted team to build your home. They're going to keep you up to date. Any tricks in the armor, they're going to come right to you and say, hey, we got a problem, we got a situation. Schumacher Homes will make it like you want it. SchumacherHomes.com, and let the professionals give you a free, no-obligation design and pricing meeting right now. Folks, remember the name All Field Equipment, allfieldequipment.com. When I say All Field, that's ALLfield.com. All Field Equipment, founded in 2016 by my good friend, Mr. Bill Allen, with over 50 years' experience in the oil and gas industry. Hey, this is a great company to do business with, whether it's production equipment, control valves, controller, glyco pumps, chemical pumps, chokes, Wilden pumps, Barton recorders. All Field has new, rebuilt, and parts. All Field handles some of the industry's top brands such as Norasil, Fisher, and Kimray. On the supply side, All Field has anything from Q-tips to appliances to general All Field supplies. All Field is one of the largest suppliers of bottled water in the Gulf. And remember, All Field never changes transportation. Like the name says, All Field has it all, covering the Architects area and the Gulf of Mexico. All Field Equipment, 337-837-1003, 337-837-1003.
Looking for a place.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out. What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Louisiana.
This message presented by the LHSAA and the Louisiana High School Athletic Directors Association.
This hour brought to you by Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management, online at matthewjames.com.
How you all? Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. And, of course, you can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com. You know, I like a little comedy. I like a little fun. There's nothing more than I do. I like to laugh and cut up, have a good time on the radio, wherever I'm at. And so, speaking of comedy, Psycho Bill Cassidy just is laughable. He's just become a laughable buffoon. And he has, and I can't wait to vote against him in 2026. I'm looking forward to it. And a lot of people are. But he is still out there crying, bickering, Psycho Bill, and fussing. And he's comical when he does it. He says comical stuff now. And I'll get to that in a second, but he's just a comical guy to me. He's almost like a cartoon character. He just really is. He's just psycho. But he's starting to be psycho in a funny way. Let me give you an example. So, Bill, this was a Greg Hilburn article, so it could be true, it could not be true. One thing about Hilburn, you never know what you're going to get, but the truth is not in him. Republican Louisiana, Bill Cassidy discusses re-election plans. Blistering Louisiana's closed party primary. Why? He's blistering it because he can't win. He can't win. I don't even know if he runs again. But here we go, because I like to get to the comedy part. Republican Louisiana's U.S. Senator Cassidy anticipates running for re-election in 2026. By the way, folks, that election's almost 3 years away, a little less than 3 years. In the state's first closed primary congressional, but continues to criticize the new law, makes his blood boil. Whoa. He votes like he wants to vote. He becomes a liberal. And I'll get to all that in a minute. He acts like a liberal. He sucks up to the Democrats. He goes after Donald Trump. He supports gun legislation. He supports the climate craziness. And it makes his, Bill, you make our blood boil. But you didn't care about that. But boy, with 3 years of election, you care now. He didn't care when we told him don't vote for this stuff. But now all of a sudden, Bill's a conservative. And he wants to let you know every day how good he is. Bill Cassidy expressed confidence in his political future. Some political analysts believe that closed primaries can make Cassidy vulnerable to a Republican challenge. Closed primary system, which only Republican voters who aren't members of any party can vote, with the winner moving on to the general election against a Democrat. But Cassidy expressed confidence in his political future. I anticipate winning my next statewide election. That's good, Bill, because I anticipate voting against you. I anticipating voting against Psycho Bill and bringing as many people as I can to let them know Bill Cassidy's record, if I'm still here. Who knows? Unlike Cassidy, I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know where I'm going to be after lunch today. I'm anticipating voting. I really am. I cannot wait to vote against him. I'm excited, and I'm not even a Republican. And then stop him from blasting a new law that reshapes the state's election process. He's become the most prominent critic of the new law, Well, if you count everybody that the law affects in a bad way, the reason you see Psycho Bill out there so much, folks, okay? The reason you see him out there, because it affects him more than anybody. He's a sitting United States senator, for God's sakes. He's a sitting United States senator. So let's move on to the comical. He said the new system will unnecessarily increase costs. And why does he care about costs? He's out there giving away billions of dollars every day. Could disenfranchise many of the state's more than 600,000 voters who aren't member of any political party. Now, let me show you how Psycho Bill, this is funny, he just throws crap out there. The 600,000 plus people are no party, and the way it's written, no parties can vote in it. How is that disenfranchised? I'm a no party, Bill. I'm coming vote. I'm one of the guys you said disenfranchised. Hey, Bill, Psycho, I'm coming vote, and I'm coming vote against you. And everybody I can bring to vote against you, I'm going to bring them. I don't even have to be on air, Bill. I'm going to vote against you. And I'm a no party. There's not 600,000 people that are disenfranchised anymore because you, John Kennedy, Jeff, everybody made a deal and watered it down. He said the new system is expected to cost an additional $61 million over 3 years, $135 million over 10 years. Like, quit throwing out bogus numbers. Let me tell you what once again, folks, he is psycho, all over the place. Number one, the bill's not finished yet. They're going to combine some elections. That's the goal, to combine elections, which will not increase the cost that much. The numbers they're grabbing is PR to make people get up and say, well, we're going to spend the money. But that ain't the funny. Here's the funniest part. So here's Psycho Bill at the federal government, and I want you to remember something. When Bill Cassidy went in as a United States senator, okay, so that was almost 10 years ago. The debt was $8 trillion when Bill Cassidy went to office. Today it's $34.5 trillion. And let me quote what Cassidy said. This is hilarious. So Bill has voted for budgets. Bill has voted for infrastructure deals. Bill has voted for gun control. Bill's voted for all these bills. And listen to him. So we're going, and he's talking about the state of Louisiana. So we're going to spend all that money on election while the state is facing a deficit in the next fiscal year. Cassidy said, I'm a fiscal conservative. I can think of a lot of other ways to spend that money. Cassidy's worried about $100 million, which, by the way, that number is going to go away. $100 million, and he helped raise the debt in this country $24 trillion. $24 trillion. $24 trillion, a number I couldn't even imagine. And he's worried about $100 million. He wants the state there because if he's a fiscal conservative, I didn't see Cassidy out there fighting against it. I saw Cassidy out there cutting the deal on the infrastructure bill. This is hilarious. This is absolutely silly for him to even worry about money. You know what they can do too, folks? You do realize, and I talked to several legislators on this. First of all, it ain't going to be as much money as they said. Bill's out there hollering and crying like a wuss. Number two is they can move money around if they smart. This is a nothing burger. And Cassidy's out there talking about he's a fiscal conservative, and he oversaw $24 trillion of debt increase in the federal government. $24 trillion. And he's worried about $100 million. He's worried about being a fiscal conservative. When did that come? When did fiscal conservative happen? He said it excludes thousands from being able to vote in a primary event, though they're paying taxes the whole election. My hope is the legislature will reconsider and do what is right. They already did, Bill. And you're hollering like a hit. Remember this, folks. I was taught this by a good friend of mine. Hit dogs holler. Hit dog. He's been hit and he's hollering. Now listen to this. Cassidy has built a reputation as bipartisan deal maker. Oh, deal cutter with the left and the libs and the socialists and the Marxists. In Washington, one of a handful of senators on either side of the aisle who were able to give traction to stall legislation, even bad legislation like the infrastructure bill. 2021, among the architects of the popular $1.2 trillion infrastructure package under Democrat President Joe Biden. And before that, helped advance the first COVID relief under Trump. In 2022, he joined with 9 other Republicans and 10 Democrats. You ready? To create the most significant gun safety legislation in 30 years. Gun control. Psycho. This is hilarious. This is funny. This is funny stuff to watch a guy trip out, holler he's a fiscal conservative as he hands billions of dollars out in the state of Louisiana. But he's a fiscal conservative. Psycho Bill. He joined 9 Republicans, 10 Democrats to create the most significant gun safety legislation in 30 years. Psycho Bill, spending money, Green New Deal, all a lies, all part of it. Now he wants to come back. That's why he doesn't want to run on a Republican-only closed primary. He don't want any part of it because his record doesn't fit with the conservatives, and he knows it. This is hilarious. He's all of a sudden a fiscal conservative because he's running for re-election. His records say different. But I never get to talk to him. I would love to get to talk to him, but I want him in the studio. I want to look at him, eye to eye, man to man. He's welcome. He can take 2 hours of the program. We'll be right back. From the humbling beginning, Dino Hardwoods is striving to provide superior service and quality products for their customers. Hey, I know Charles Altman. He does a great job. If you're looking for lumber, Dino Hardwoods stocks a large selection of domestic and import hardwood lumber and cypress. You ought to see their stuff. Exotic lumber, they got that as well. Trust in Dino Hardwoods when it comes to your exotic lumber needs right now. Molding, plywood, paint, and L products, they are ready for you. They got 3 great locations. The corporate office is right here in Broussard, Louisiana. There's an office in Shreveport on 2801 Valley View Drive and one in Tyler, Texas, 12492 Highway 155 North. Hey, if you're looking for something different and something new and somebody who will service you, it's Dino Hardwoods. I'm telling you, don't forget Dino Hardwoods. DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com. Great locations. They can service you. They can deliver. DinoHardwoods.com. Check out this great Louisiana company. Oh, man, I love me some Superior Grill. Superior Grill, the best Mexican food in the state of Louisiana, bar none, baby. They are the best, and you're going to love them, too. They got great drinks and food, and the atmosphere is second to none. They know what they're doing. They know how to serve. Hey, folks, you do know they cater. They do cater. Superior Grill, located in New Orleans, Shreveport, and Baton Rouge, Lafayette right around the corner. You're going to love Superior Grill. You're going to love the atmosphere. You're going to love the taste. They can handle anything you got. Folks, they got happy hours. They really serve the people. And you're going to love Superior Grill. I love it. You're going to love it. I cannot wait to go to Superior Grill. I've been going to Superior Grill now for 29 years. Let me tell you, I know all about Superior Grill. And I want good Mexican food. I'm going to Superior Grill. I want to see you there. We're going to have a blast. When you think about how... Hey, hello, welcome back. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607 is the number. We also adding to the list today, Dawn McVeigh is going to join us in the third hour. She's regional director, 6 states for National Federation of Independent Businesses. She was just a little Louisiana girl. She's now in charge of Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Oklahoma, and Texas. She's a regional lady. I'm looking forward to it. She always had a good insight on Louisiana, but now that she's other states, maybe she can help us all out. Somebody wrote, it's funny how the same people worry about the cost of elections are the same people that fight us every step of the way on the NGOs and money, and they want to raise taxes. You're correct. Cassidy's one of those people. Let me give you remember this guy, he's a big-time loser. Tanner Bad News Bear McGee. You remember him? Yeah, you remember him. He didn't run last time. He ran for judge. He got beat 62-38. They run him out of Dodge with his ignorance. He was the former, pro tem guy, whatever you call him. And, yeah, he was put there, and he was horrible. He went up north to try to beat up people like Dodie Hart and got his rear end hammered on that, too. Yeah, I'm talking about Bad News McGee. So Bad News McGee is out there because Bill Cassidy and Psycho Bill and them are putting out there, this election's going to cost us $100 million, $130 million. And nobody can say that because it's not finished yet, because they're going to tie up some of these elections with other ones. They got different money to move around. He's already fussing about the Jeff Landry and the House and the Senate, how they already spending all this money. I had two lawmakers call me today who were falling out laughing at Bad News Bear Tanner McGee, big mouth Bad News Bear Tanner McGee. Falling out laughing. Look at this fool. This fool voted for every tax known to mankind. He grew government to no end. He sent money all over the place. Tanner McGee's just an absolute fool. So these guys have one special session. Psycho Bill and the media is spending more money. And they didn't care about spending money when old Bellboy was there. They spent billions. They didn't care when Blank Page Cortez was blocking good legislation. And that's Tanner Big Mouth Bad News Bear McGee tweeting out. Got to get my Twitter account. Guys, I got it. I promise you, I just hadn't started yet to mess with people like Tanner McGee, because Tanner's a joke. He was a joke as a representative. 100% joke. He wouldn't come on this program either. He would not come on this program. When I was in the Capitol broadcasting 2 or 3 times, somebody said, what about? I said, go get McGee. And I was told, he'll never pass a chance to go head-to-head with you. I said, bring him on. I said, tell him to come on. He never showed up. He should come on. He should have came. I don't want him now because he would be useless in what we're trying to do in the state of Louisiana. He's one of the ones that hurt us. He was a lieutenant for that Shakedown Shakes now, the shady man. So it's just funny how the people who are giving you advice are the ones when they were in charge screwed it up, overspent, overtaxed. Tanner was right there with him. Same thing with Psycho Bill. That's why I said it's funny. He's worried about $100 million. The dude's passing out billions of dollars every day, taking credit for him with the Green New Deal. I shared that with you yesterday, all the craziness he was saying. Now he's even gotten nuttier. He's even gotten worse. I didn't think you can get worse, but he's the one crying, folks, because he's the one that's going to be affected. I'm not sure Psycho Bill can win in an open primary. I'm not. If a really good Republican would run, if we had open primaries, and I hope we don't, I hope we close them all up. But if we had a really good open primary with a really good conservative Republican, okay, I think Psycho would get beat either way. I do. I really do. But in this case, with a closed primary, he is hollering because hit dogs holler. They just always have, and they always will. Hit dogs holler. He's been hit. What has he been hit with? He's been hit with closed primaries. He's been hit with something he didn't want. His worst nightmare is closed primary. By far his worst nightmare. He knows good and well now he's got to go face all these Republicans that called him and begged him not to impeach the president. The people that begged him not to go with the left on gun control. The people that begged him not to go with the left on this Green New Deal crazy stuff, infrastructure bill, which was nothing more than printing of money, selling our debt, causing the debt to go up and the deficit to go up. He claimed it didn't. It did. We begged him not to do it. He flipped us off. He basically flipped us off and said, I don't care what you folks think. I'm doing what I want to do. Let me tell you something else he promised. It's been reported to me several times. Cassidy said when he ran for Senate, I do not have this in my hands. I need somebody to deliver it to me. Bill Cassidy said he wouldn't run more than 2 terms. His 2 terms are up. His 2 terms are coming up. He's got 24, 25, and 26. He's got less than 3 years left. I thought he wasn't going to run again. But with Psycho, it's like I told you. He's over here. He's over there. He's everywhere. You ever looked at one of those movies? How about just Psycho itself, and people were just crazy and they made these movies up? There were people all over the place. They're your friends one day and they're stabbing you in the back the next. They walk in with you proud. He held the hand of Donald Trump. He held his hand. As soon as he won, the heck with Trump. By the way, another question to ask Psycho. You vote for Donald Trump if he's the nominee? Now, Bill told us he wouldn't be the nominee. But if he becomes the nominee, is Psycho Bill gone with him, or is Psycho Bill gone with Michelle Obama, whoever else they put up? I think those questions need to be asked. I know what Mitt Romney's doing, and he ain't much different than Mitt Romney. I know what some of these leftist Mitt Romney-type Republicans, Cassidy's right in there with that group. So I think it's funny. I'm a fiscal conservative. He's worried about $135 million over 10 years for election, which, by the way, it won't probably cost near that. But he ain't worried about the $24 trillion worth of debt that was run up under his watch as a United States Senator. Trillion. He's worried about how much deficit we're facing. You know, I never heard him jump up and talk about deficits when any other governor was out there. We wouldn't even know we were going to have a deficit if it hadn't been for Jeff Landry. So anyway, I just think it's hilarious. Deal maker in Washington, deal maker for Biden, deal maker on gun control, deal maker on the $1.2 trillion infrastructure, which is probably $2 trillion. All that, Psycho Bill. Now he wants to rehabilitate himself. Unbelievable. Take a break. Be back. More to come. A lot more to come. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Line One is a business telecom provider. Line One specializes in cloud-based communication with superior customer service. If you're frustrated with phone bills you can't understand, endless hold time to customer support, and phone system that is not meeting your needs, then you need to go to Line.1 and schedule a free consultation to advance your business phone system. Line One, technology with a human touch. Go to Line.1 and tell them Moon sent you. Again, that is Line.1.
Show that's not immune to facts. The Dan Bongino Show here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station broadcasting from the Matthew James Financial Studio.
Social media under scrutiny. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
These products have an upside. You've enriched our lives in many ways.
But Republican Senator Lindsey Graham says
the dark side hasn't been dealt with.
And at the start of the hearing into online child safety, Graham says this has to change.
We live in America in 2024 where there is no regulatory body dealing with the most profitable, biggest companies in the history of the world. They can't be sued, and there's not one law on the book that's meaningful protecting the American consumer.
Testifying are the leaders of Discord, Snap, TikTok, and X, and Meta's Mark Zuckerberg, who says they take kids' safety seriously, giving parents controls, and
we put special restrictions on teen accounts on Instagram. By default, accounts for under 16s are set to private, have the most restrictive content settings, and can't be messaged by adults that they don't follow or people they aren't connected to.
Now, this hour at the House, FBI Director Christopher Wray will testify at a hearing into China's threats. He'll say Chinese hackers keep targeting American infrastructure, including water and power and transportation. We're still waiting for the retaliation President Biden says he's already decided on in response to the Iran-backed militant attack on a base in Jordan that killed 3 American soldiers.
The Hezbollah Brigades has posted that it is going to suspend attacks against U.S. assets in Iraq and in Syria. At least that's the claim they're making. This comes one day after another Iranian-backed militia, Kataib Hezbollah, essentially said the same thing. There have been nearly 170 of these types of attacks across the region since mid-October, leading the Pentagon to say promises from these Iran-backed militias to de-escalate, they're coming just too little and too late.
Fox's Rich Edson. Today, U.S. Navy destroyer shot down another missile Iran-backed Houthi militants fired from Yemen around the Red Sea. President Biden plans to go to East Palestine, Ohio next month, a year after a toxic train derailment.
He's going to see empty buildings, and because businesses have left.
Business owner DJ Oakley tells Fox people in East Palestine still worry about contamination. America's listening to Fox News.
Don't let everyday aches and pains keep you from living your best life.
I don't think I really understood what people meant when they talked about pain until I started feeling it myself.
Start feeling better every day with Relief Factor, a daily supplement designed to support your body's fight against aches and pains.
Not only do I move better without pain, I just feel better.
Created by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that target 4 metabolic pathways to address pain. Relief Factor doesn't just mask aches and pains, it helps reduce or even eliminate them.
Today, I do the things I love, and it doesn't occur to me to think about pain.
You can feel the difference all day, every day.
Join the over 1 million people who have tried Relief Factor's 3-week Quick Start Kit. It's only $19.95 and comes with our Feel Better or Your Money Back guarantee. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4.
Court-appointed special advocates, or CASA, are specially trained volunteers that help secure safe homes for abused and neglected children. Don't let these innocent victims slip through the cracks of our complicated legal system. Get involved today. Call CASA at 268-5111. This nonprofit organization moment brought to you by News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Your drive time is live and local. Hey, folks, it's me, Joe Cunningham, and my show, The Joe Cunningham Show, airs every day from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. You can get it all. News and commentary you can't get from anywhere else on the local, state, and national level, plus your calls and your comments through our KPEL app chat. It's a fun drive home here on the Joe Cunningham Show, News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hi, y'all all. Welcome back. Hi, y'all all. It is Hump Day. Great day to be here. 844-766-6607. By the way, I know the Cassidy people listen, so if Bill wants to come on, I'd love to talk to him. I got a lot of stuff to talk to Cassidy about. Matter of fact, it's moaning. So if he needs a couple hours, come on. I'm going to let you talk. I ain't going to let you get away with it, but I'll let you talk. I'd love to talk to him. He's all around me. He's on radio programs all over the state, on all the stations I'm on. I know I guess it's the way to go around me to get to the audience. But I think it'd be a nice, pleasant conversation with me and Cassidy. And I think it'd be good. So I'm putting it out publicly, but, I've never really called to ask him on the program much. They usually called us. And for 7 years, they called us and we put them on. They called us and we put them on. They called us and we put them on. Don't you think he ought to still be calling? I'd put him on. 844-766-6607 is Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. I keep laughing, Cassie. I'm a fiscal conservative. I wonder what I am. It's amazing. We're getting close to elections, and it's still 3 years away. Don't get me wrong, less than 3 years away. He's trans into a fiscal conservative all of a sudden. All right, well, let me back up what I'm saying about Cassidy making up all this money stuff, and boy, we got a deficit. We sure don't need to do that. He ran up $10 trillion increase in the debt since Cassidy's been in office, or more. But I come up, and I read a lot, like I told you folks. It's what I like to do. Debt disaster. How America's spending spree is breaking the bank. Debt disaster. Here's Cassidy talking about the state of Louisiana, and we're having a deficit, and we need to be worried about $100 million, and Cassidy's out there spending billions and trillions and trillions and trillions, and I keep picking up debt disaster. U.S. economy bracing for a significant slowdown. Change driven primarily by dwindling momentum of American consumer spending. Talks about the worrying trend accompanying the spending spree. Households are increasingly tapping in their savings account, resorting to borrowing to sustain their spending habits. Record household debt. I'm sure Bill don't care about this as he runs around and touts global warming and all these projects that are causing every product and service we got to skyrocket. Bill don't know about it. He don't care about that. Just put his name on a project that he had something to do with. Third quarter amount reached, household debt reached a record $17.3 trillion. Credit card debt, long top, $1.08 trillion. High since 2003. Now, they said it's notably tied to the increase in holiday spending. Americans seemingly spent beyond their means. The burden of debt is compounded by ongoing inflation. Hey, Bill, all these high prices that we got because of your horrendous spending habits going around telling everybody to put vacuum cleaners by their plants so we can suck the air and put it in the ground. Let me go one more thing because just in case Bill's listening. The escalating national debt, a fiscal time bomb, and Cassidy's down here telling us that $100 million in primary, in this new closed primary, which, by the way, is going to be less than. You just watch. That's what he's worried about. He ain't worried about the national debt. He's not worried about any of that. The economic shift is occurring against the backdrop of escalating U.S. national debt, now surpassing $34 trillion, which was at $8 trillion in 2013. The growth of debt staggering contrast to the $907 billion debt 4 decades ago. That would be 40 years ago for you people in Balkanville. 1983. I never forget, we thought the sky was falling because we had almost $1 trillion worth of debt. The debt now is way more than that, but percentage-wise, it's way more. The government, and it says it's reflecting concerns over the government's handling of our finances. Psycho Bill, is he not in the government? Is he not a big part of it? Economists. One of them says you can't just spend trillions of dollars more than you have revenue every year and expect no ill consequences. Somebody tell Psycho Bill that. The sentiment echoes across the economic landscape, with the Congressional Budget Office projecting the national debt to nearly double in size over the next 3 decades, potentially jeopardizing Americans' global economic Double. That would be almost $68 trillion, almost $70 trillion under the great leadership of someone like Psycho Bill, who's worried about $100 million for elections over 10 years. And part of it is the infrastructure bill. The White House citing $1.7 trillion deficit reduction in Biden's first 2 years. The figure primarily reflects the expiration of emergency COVID measures rather than sustainable fiscal policy. See what they do? We're not going to have this $1.7 billion in COVID money. It's gone. We're going to tell people we cut $1.7 billion. That's what they do. That's called government work. So anyway, I just wanted to bring it up. I wasn't even going to talk about it again, but I just wanted to bring it up as Cassidy runs around calling himself a fiscal conservative. And I'm sitting there falling out laughing at that. He wants to be reelected. I think he ought to be beat and beat like a dog. He ought to be beat like a drum and beat hard and embarrassed. That's what I think he deserves. He embarrassed us. He's acting like a senator from Illinois, not one from Louisiana. And by the way, all these votes that I just mentioned, it was 3 or 4 votes that I mentioned. John Kennedy didn't vote like he voted. Mike Johnson didn't vote like he voted. Clay Higgins didn't vote like he voted. Even the great legendary Garrett Graves didn't vote like he voted. Neither did Julia Letlow. I don't even know if Julia was there for. I think what's Julia been there for a year and a half? 2 years? I forget. I know we lost her husband and she ran 2 years ago, 3 years, whatever it was. Steve Scalise didn't even vote that way on some of this stuff that Psycho Bill voted for. So I kind of get a kick out of watching somebody trying to save his rear end. Save his rear end. That's all he's trying to do. It ain't about you. It surely ain't about me. But it ain't about us. It ain't about the state. It ain't about any of that. It's about Bill Cassidy. It's not even about closed primaries. The only reason Cassidy's stuck on closed primaries because it eliminates him. He gets beat. That's the only reason that Bill's tripping out. And he is tripping. He is tripping bad. And he knows it. He got to come up with a game plan. Kissing up to Biden is not a game plan. Wanting to have gun control is not a game plan. Joining the UN, the World Economic Forum, and every other nut on this climate crisis, which they ain't none, is not a game plan to win. I just wish people would listen to me about that. This is crazy. The devil's advocate. On the border bill, House Speaker Mike Johnson should focus on policy, not play politics. Actually, what the advocate did today, the staff editorial, the John George piece of trash, actually took up for Joe Biden and his border policies today. Did y'all read this? I don't blame you if you didn't. Republicans in Washington rarely miss an opportunity to cast the flow of undocumented people, that would be illegals, crossing our country's southern border as a crisis. Folks, you see the first paragraph? They fussing at Republicans for making it sound like it's a crisis. My God, how many more fentanyl deaths have to happen from somebody that came across the border with our kids? How many more must die for the advocate to realize, the devil's advocate to realize, look what's going on? How many young people have to be thrown in prostitution for them to realize what's going on? You can go around my town and you can see it's starting to happen everywhere. But the advocate takes up for Joe Biden and the left. Here's how Biden's described the evolving bill. What's been negotiated with, if it passed, be the toughest and fairest set of reforms to secure the border we ever had in our country. That's a lie. Everybody knows that's a lie. But they support Joe Biden. Now, new Speaker Mike Johnson declared agreement dead on arrival. Thank you, Mike Johnson. Thank you for declaring it dead on arrival. That's what he should have done. They should throw it away. Apparently driving the House resistance is former president, likely GOP nominee Donald Trump is trashing the deal. By the way, this is what they have. Donald Trump is popular here. He's more popular than any politician. He's pushing 60%. We're going to vote for Trump, he's in. And here's the newspaper trashing Trump again. They trash anything that's to the right, any Republican. As responsible as that is, Trump currently plays no official policy role. Johnson does. We're disappointed to see him go down a path and urge him to reconsider. So what? If Mike Johnson disappoints the advocate, Mike, you're probably 100% on the money. If you disappoint the woke advocate, the dumbest thing that media we ever had in the state, Mike, you're right on the money. Keep doing what you're doing when it comes to border. You're right on. If the advocate is trashing you, you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. Thank you, Congressman Johnson. Let's take a break. 844-766-6607, Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. Pat and Lafayette will start with you. Folks, you can be part of the program, or you can email me, moon@moongriffon.com. We'll take a break. Be right back. Line One is a business telecom provider. Line One specializes in cloud-based communication with superior customer service. If you're frustrated with phone bills you can't understand, endless hold time to customer support, and phone system that is not meeting your needs, then you need to go to Line.1 and schedule a free consultation to advance your business phone system. Line One, technology with a human touch. Go to Line.1 and tell them Moon sent you. Again, that is Line.1. Oh, Shucks, you've been hearing me brag about Shucks. Been going there for many, many years. Shucks does a great job. If you like seafood, you got to go to Shucks in Abbeville. I'm telling you right now, there's shrimp, there's oysters, there's fish, all fresh every day right off the boat. So if you want something fresh and you want fresh seafood, you got to go to Shucks. Don't forget, if you're having a party, call Shucks. Let them cater the event for you, or you can go pick it up. Shucks, they're waiting on you. If you want a great time and you want great food, you got to go to Shucks in Abbeville. Shucks. Oh, they're good. Folks, I want to tell you about one of my new advertisers, Adapt Concepts AC Service Repairs. Oh, serving all of Acadiana, surrounding areas, and the Gulf of Mexico for over 6 years. Full service AC and heating company, repairs, installation, and preventive maintenance, which is very, very important. Installation service, professional quality services, focus on creating value for you. Terms of certified technician, 24/7 customer service, and free consultation. I'm talking Adapt Concepts, AC Service Repairs. You want the professionals, you want the best, this is them. Purchase a qualified high-efficient system for maintenance, plus get a free 12-year parts and labor warranty. Wow, don't you want to know about that? Call them at 337-408-8202. That's 337-408-8202. Or go to the website, adapt-ac.com. That's adapt-ac.com. Oh. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. Matthew James, Tax Wealth Management Hotline, if you'd like to be part of the program. Let's see what they're saying here. Biden rolling out stove regulation out there, insisting gas stove ban is a myth. Get rid of gas stove. What a nut. Let's go to phone lines. Go to Lafayette. Go to Mr. Pat. Pat, how you doing, sir?
Doing fine, Moon. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
We keep throwing around these huge numbers what the government is spending, and I'd like to help your listeners get a feeling for the proper perspective of these numbers. If you were to go to your bank and count $1 million in $1 bills every second, it would take you over 11 and a half days to count that $1 million. Now, that $1 billion count would take you over 31 years to count that $1 billion in $1 bills. A trillion of which I think the United States owes about 34 trillion.
Yeah, 34, 35. Who's counting?
Counting $1 trillion, $1 at a time, would take you over 3,000 years.
Well, look.
That's what we're talking about. They throw around $1 billion and $1 trillion like it's nothing. But Jesus Christ walked the earth about 2,000 years ago, not 3.17 years ago.
Yeah. Well, the thing about, I appreciate you calling it. It's sad because the American people have looked the other way over this money we spent. I'll give you an example. I always like to start with our state. Okay, the Green New Deal, the infrastructure money, all that crap you hear me talk about. It's just throwing it around. And people that deliver boats and people that are going to get their money and get their credits and not have to pay, they just bought it hook, line, and sinker. We should be fighting that. We should be fighting it. Well, other people are going to take the money. Let them take it. Let their economy crash with the federal money. Let them be dependent on the federal money. As somebody pointed out to me, this money ends. This shuts down. This doesn't continue going like this. So, when Cassidy's worried about $100 million for elections, but he ain't worried about the $24 trillion run up on his watch, that tells you everything you want. He's a selfish son of a gun, and that's all he cares about is himself, period.
That's right, Boone. Once again, thank you for what you do for us, and keep spreading the good word for what people need to know.
All right, man. Appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's just a lot. In other words, he's pointing out how much money that is. It's like unbelievable amount of money. Anyway, Mike Johnson, I don't like, they brag about Mike Johnson when he cut a deal with the Democrats. Okay? They brag about his willingness to face them down, enormous pressure from the fringe corners of his caucus, the fringe corners on the left, the fringe corners of the nuts on the left. Johnson maneuvered to avoid a government shutdown early this month, despite the fact that Similar Action doomed ousted former Kevin Speaker and reportedly posed to bring a tax bill to the House floor that would give both parties something they want. They like when Mike Johnson, we appreciate Johnson showing pragmatism and openness and compromise on economic issues. But both are qualities that make government function as should. In other words, we spending money. If we cutting deals and we spending money, that's a good thing. And the advocate ought to know they had a front row seat to the legislature. But Mike, if the advocate can brag on you, that's never good. When the advocate is against you, man, that's you hitting a home run. Because these guys don't even know what the truth is. They don't care. They don't care what the truth is. So I just keep watching the media just blow up all over. By the way, Louisiana ranks dead last on health nationwide. The reason I bring it up is that all this Medicaid money we got and all this money we got from the federal government, all these hospitals got this money. How in the heck are we last? How are we last in anything to do with medical? But we are. We got so much money. The biggest part of our budget is what comes through the medical side, health and hospitals. Biggest part of our budget by far. Nothing else is even close. That's why I'm hoping and praying that Doc Abraham, who's the head of that, will get to the bottom of what we're really doing with all that money in that department. All right, we got to take a break. More to come. Moon Griffon Show. Don't go anywhere. Phone line open for you. You can email me, moon@moongriffon.com. We'll take a break. Be right back. Folks, you hear me brag about a new advertisement. South Star Urgent Care is the name you need to know. Listen, you look up, you're in the middle of the night, you're looking, God, where do we go? South Star Urgent Care. They open on weekends, they open at night, they can get you taken care of. If you're sick, if you're feeling bad, maybe you coughing, dehydrated, fever, flu, fracture, South Star Urgent Care wants to service you, and they're going to treat you like you want to be treated. They're going to get you in, get you out. You're not going to sit in a dark waiting room for a bunch of times. South Star Urgent Care. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com. You can register before you go and set your appointment. Hey, it's really cool. These folks at South Star greet you with a genuine smile and make you feel very comfortable. Folks, you're looking for the perfect urgent care? It's South Star Urgent Care. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com. South Star Urgent Care. It's the urgent care you need. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com. Oh, man, I love me some Superior Grill. Superior Grill, the best Mexican food in the state of Louisiana, bar none, baby. They are the best, and you're going to love them, too. They got great drinks and food, and the atmosphere is second to none. They know what they're doing. They know how to serve. Hey, folks, you do know they cater. They do cater. Superior Grill, located in New Orleans, Shreveport, and Baton Rouge, Lafayette right around the corner. You're going to love Superior Grill. You're going to love the atmosphere. You're going to love the taste. They can handle anything you got. Folks, they got happy hours. They really serve the people. And you're going to love Superior Grill. I love it. You're going to love it. I cannot wait to go to Superior Grill. I've been going to Superior Grill now for 29 years. Let me tell you, I know all about Superior Grill. And I want good Mexican food. I'm going to Superior Grill. I want to see you there. We're going to have a blast. As I told you, folks, and I've been talking about the Good Feet store, I got to tell you, you don't know until you go. And they suggest come into the Good Feet store. If you're having any kind of pain, people have, and I heard people that, well, I bought this shoe and I bought that shoe. I tried this mess. I tried it. It didn't work. You owe it to yourself to go to the Good Feet store. I did. I'm going to tell you what, it instantly changed my pain in my ankles and my hip. I'm telling you right now, the Good Feet store with their Good Feet arch is different than anything you've been using. You need to just walk in. They take all comers. Here's the good news. You think, am I going to have to buy new shoes? How about bring your own shoes? I brought my own shoes, and I'm wearing my own shoes. The difference is I got a Good Feet arch in my shoe now, which is making a difference. Yes, I'm working out, still walking my 10 miles a week. I'm still lifting weights, and I'm still fishing. And I got the Good Feet arch support now, which is going to make it so much better for me. Hey, if you think you tried everything, you hadn't tried everything because you hadn't walked into a Good Feet store. Good Feet store, one right here in Lafayette and Baton Rouge. They want to see you.
This hour brought to you by Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management. Online at MatthewJames.com.
Hello, welcome, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607 is the number. If you'd like to be part of the program, your opportunity to be a voice. It is a Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. You can email me, moon@moongriffon.com. Let's go to Tony on the road. Tony, how you doing?
Hey, good morning. I appreciate all the enthusiasm Louisiana is in for brighter days. And it's not just the weather today either. It's a beautiful forecast for what could happen in all the bureaucracies that are so convoluted here in Louisiana.
Tony, I had one of the representatives, and I talked to several this morning, said that if Governor Landry could change what's happening in the health department, which is led by really, really a great man in Ralph Abraham, that would be fundamentally change everything. And I'm hoping, and look, I hadn't talked to Jeff, and I'm not going to get in Jeff's business. I know what Jeff campaigned on, but I think for him, that department, DOTD, to really be revamped and very responsible, I think they'll find savings in the health department. But what I want on a DOTD, I want to know where the money's going there too, before somebody says we need to do this and raise taxes.
It's going to the lowest bidder, and I don't know the people personally, and I'm sorry if I'm offending them, but they need to look in the lab department and in the contracts department. Those might need to be outsourced until we can find out what the issues are. But as long as we're going to the lowest bidder, we're going to get the lowest quality. We're going to get the oldest stuff. We're not going to get new technology that we experience in adjacent states.
Yeah, well, I know this. It's in his hands now, and we've had a spending problem. If you want to cut taxes, the one thing the Republicans fall on when they cut taxes, okay, forget the Democrats and the liberal me. Oh, well, you're going to make up the revenue. You don't have to make up the revenue. But what you do if you cut taxes, you got to cut spending. You're not making up the revenue. You got to cut the spending side. So if you want to cut taxes and you can find spending savings, you can do it. It's not a problem. But what the government does, and what the state wants is just to keep spending, adding more. Worst thing you can do. We've been doing that for 100 years here. It's time to change. That's why we become a ward of the federal government. Just how much money can you send? We'll take it for anything.
I agree, and there's fraud in all of that. Years ago in the 90s, when we were receptive to some things, we had a Republican on its way to qualify to be our governor.
All right, Tony. Sorry about that. You keep going dead on me, so I'm gonna let you go. It's a bad. Sometimes it's just like that. You know, Louisiana ranked dead last in health nationwide. A new initiative aims to change that. Why we ranking last? We spend more money on health care than anybody. We do. How did we come? Could we? I think it's willy nilly. We just spend it. Social and economic factor, physical environment, the behavior of residents. Louisiana is ranked last healthy state in the nation for 2 years in a row. Who was the governor? Who was the governor the last 2 years? Anybody want to guess? Now, tell that to the advocate. The high premium death rate, premature death rate, high levels of economic hardships. How can we have high levels of economic hardship? We try to raise the minimum wage. We got Medicaid expansion. I mean, look at all the prosperity that went on under Bell Edwards. High levels of economic hardship in Louisiana? I can't believe that. We had Bell Edwards for 8 years. Also, it said, let's see, are the signs of sources of a state exceptionally bad health, according to the United Health Foundation, which have produced an in-depth American health ranking for more than 30 years. The plan is to raise state rankings to 40th in the nation by 2030. Because Louisiana is so far behind. How can they say that? We had Bell Edwards for 8 years. We ain't behind in anything. We were told they took a $2 billion budget deficit, which was a lie, and made it into a $3.2 billion surplus, but they never told us how they did that. What did you do? How was it so good governing? They raised $7 billion in taxes. And then they took every federal penny they could take. They didn't care what it was for. If there's a federal grant out there, Louisiana will try to get it. It don't matter what it's for. So they want to jump 10 spots in the next 7 years. So they developed something called the Louisiana Health Equity Center Foundation. I think that's the name of it. New initiative dubbed LA 40 by 2030, spearheaded by the Louisiana Center for Health Equity. Can you do it without federal money? You want to see some people fall out laughing at you? Ask them if they can do it without the federal money, federal government cutting them a check. Louisiana's mental health outcomes are among the worst in the nation, and mental health is a significant contributing factor. Now, the Center is hoping to work with partners such as the newly founded Office of Women's Health and Community Health. Mississippi 49th, Arkansas 48th. So, you know, when we spend all this money, I just thought one day, just one day, they can show us the results of something that really happened good here. Too many good people here to continue to fight this. Just too many. I'm sick of seeing them move, man, and leave. You know? If all this federal money hadn't stopped taxes from being increased, why hadn't this federal money stopped young people from leaving our state? Because that ain't where it's at. It's not in raising taxes. It's not in getting federal money. It's not expanding Medicaid. It's about jobs, and I told y'all this 1,000 times. It's jobs, man. It's just jobs. It's just simple stuff. But you got to have the leadership team to address this. I'm hoping in short time, because the stuff I'm talking about has to be big stuff. Can't be little stuff. Can't be put on the back. Can't be deal cut. Can't be watered down. And that's why I'm hoping Governor Landry is going to go full force and full. It looks like to me, whether you agree or disagree with him, he's going full charge on things that he believes he wants to get done. If you wouldn't have people like Cameron Henry in the Senate, he would have got what he wanted in closed primaries. We could listen to Cassidy cry even more. You know? We could see him cry even more. It's like a panicking wuss. Because his job. Hey, Bill, you've been a doctor and a congressman and a United States senator. You're smart. You don't need to be a senator. You don't need to be a senator. Why don't you just go home? I don't have a problem with you going home. You know, when I started this job, I said, I'm going to do the best I can. If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. I'll go do something else. Hey, Bill, you can do something else. You're a smart guy. Do you like Bill Edwards, all this federal money you got coming in with the Green New Deal? Go make a bunch of money on that. Hell, everybody else is. Everybody else around that sucker's going to make as much as they can. You may as well join them. You help bring it in, go join them. Get all the money you can get. That's what y'all normally do anyway. Bill, you can always become a lobbyist. Go ask John McCrary, Vitter, ask them all, Livingston. Ask them all, Mary Landrieu. They make a ton of money as lobbyists. Go be a lobbyist. Just don't run for Senate, Bill. Don't run. Go home. We got to take a break. 844-766-6607. Open line for you, Matthew James Tax Well Management Hotline, if you'd like to be a part of it. One more segment to go in this hour. We'll take a break. Be right back. Folks, I want to tell you about one of my new advertisers, Adapt Concepts AC Service Repairs. Serving all of Acadiana, surrounding areas, and the Gulf of Mexico for over 6 years. Full service AC and heating company. Repairs, installation, and preventive maintenance, which is very, very important. Installation service, professional quality services, focus on creating value for you. Terms of certified technician, 24/7 customer service, and free consultation. I'm talking Adapt Concepts. AC Service Repairs. You want the professionals, you want the best, this is them. Purchase a qualified high-efficient system for maintenance, plus get a free 12-year parts and labor warranty. Wow, don't you want to know about that? Call them at 337-408-8202. That's 337-408-8202. Or go to the website, adapt-ac.com. That's adapt-ac.com. Folks, you hear me brag about a new advertisement. South Star Urgent Care is the name you need to know. Listen, you look up, you're in the middle of the night, you're looking, God, where do we go? South Star Urgent Care. They open on weekends, they open at night, they can get you taken care of. If you're sick, if you're feeling bad, maybe you coughing, dehydrated, fever, flu, fractures, South Star Urgent Care wants to service you, and they're going to treat you like you want to be treated. They're going to get you in, get you out. You're not going to sit in a dark waiting room for a bunch of times. South Star Urgent Care. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com. You know you can register before you go and set your appointment. Hey, it's really cool. These folks at South Star greet you with a genuine smile and make you feel very comfortable. Folks, you're looking for the perfect urgent care? It's South Star Urgent Care. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com. South Star Urgent Care. It's the urgent care you need. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com.
My friend and I are... You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use, like, anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado. Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hello, welcome back. Moon and Fawn Show, last segment of this hour, 844-766-6607. Matthew James, Tax Wealth Management Hotline. I kind of, folks, I tell you what, the government, and they did that with the January 6th. Personally, I'd have never went into the building. There's a lot of coercion in getting these people to go in so they could press charge and put people in jail. You got to remember, folks, when the left takes over, if you look at any country, the first thing they did was they sent messages to their people, don't mess with us. That's Hitler did it, all these countries, and we're doing the same thing. I was reading 6 pro-life activists found guilty, face 11 years in prison for peaceful protests. 6 pro-life activists found guilty on Tuesday for conspiracy against rights and violating freedom of access to a clinic entrance in relation to peaceful protests outside Tennessee abortion facilities. You know, you can Black Lives Matter and these groups go and they burn stuff and they burn cars and they destroy stuff. And we don't even worry about people like that. I mean, I'm talking about destructive as hell. Even the media was saying, oh, these are peaceful protests. You see fires in Oregon, Portland, Oregon, and places like this, and nobody would go to jail. President Biden's pro-abortion administration announced in October that he had charged 11 activists involved in March 5th blockade of a health center clinic. It wasn't a health, it was an abortion clinic, killing babies, and nothing to do with health. Attorneys for the activists said they're conducting a rescue and had gathered on the second floor in an office building in the clinic located to pray, sing hymns, and urge women not to go through with abortion. Boy, they were violent, weren't they? Peaceful protests. Live streamed on Facebook. You know, when you got a country with the leaders, when they turn into this, the good guys are the bad guys, and the bad guys are the good guys. That's biblical. We just flip everything. You can kill a baby. You can slaughter them suckers. You okay. Be dang getting away of trying to kill a baby. 6 of the activists have now been found guilty of misdemeanor FACE Act charges as well as a felony conspiracy against rights charge, which carries it possibility up to 11 years in prison and fines up to $250,000. Now, listen, they arrested Chester Gallagher, 73 years old. What is Chester going to do violently? There was no guns involved here. You think Chester was going kung fu fighting and wipe people out? 73 years old. Heather Adoni, 58, of Michigan, a woman. She wasn't transgender to a man. She was a woman. Calvin Zastro, 57. Coleman Boyd, 51. Dennis Green, 56. And Paul Vaughn, 55. 55 up to 73. No guns, no violence, singing. And Biden and them want these people to go to jail for up to 11 years. 4 other ones hadn't even gone and faced trial yet. You ready for this one? Some more? Eva Eld, 87 years old. They might put a woman in jail that's 87 years old and don't want to see innocent babies get slaughtered, and that's what the Democrats do. 87 years old. No gun, singing Jesus songs and praising the good Lord. Trying to talk people out of having, killing a baby, and you're a criminal in the United States of America. Now here's one 24, another one 25, another one 24. The problem is one of the activists, 24-year-old Carolyn Davidson Mission, already in plea deal in 2023, agreed to testify, guess who, for the government. Scared her to death. I mean, this shouldn't be Germany with Hitler. Federal offenses brought on by the Biden administration. And we're arresting 87-year-old people. 87-year-old people. 70-something, I mean, arresting 73-year-old man. By the way, if he had a gun, I get it. He didn't have a gun. That's what it looks like in a country that is changing from a free country where you're able to protest. But if you are on the Democrat side, you want to burn down some buildings, and you want to burn up some cars, and you want to confiscate property from the federal government, and you on the left, and you're crazy. You're crazy left. It's okay. You can do that. Don't even fear anything happening to you. But if you're pro-life and you just want to take a stance, be careful. You see people, I'm going to say people like me, but people like me that believes this climate thing is the absolutely biggest lie to ever come upon us. They think there are people that think I ought to go to jail for not believing what they believe. I mean, there are people, they have already came out and said climate denier. I'm not a climate denier. Climate does change. Been changing before we got here. Been changing since we've been here. And it's going to be changing when we leave. They want people like me, and I think I'm 100% on the money. They want people like me go to jail. People like you. Some of you people, they believe the same things I believe. But in America, it used to not be like that. You have a right to believe a certain way. You have a right to be crazy, as long as you don't hurt nobody else. You have a right to nut up. You have those rights. I mean, there's nothing wrong if you want to be crazy and believe that the planet is so bad and it's going to hell in a half. You have a right. But how come it takes federal money to produce everything you need? It's an incredible thing to watch. Young Environment's leading opposition to the LNG terminals in the state of Louisiana. Young environmentalists. By the way, most of them are at our public universities. Most of them. By the way, I love environmentalists. Mental. It's a mental, all right. So earlier this month, downtown New Orleans, Energy Summit of America, they had this group that got together called the Sunrise Movement of Louisiana, and they protested oil and gas. Protested it. Talking about how bad it is. We at the Sunrise Movement of New Orleans, an active group of young environmentalists, strongly oppose the project. Why? Because they come right out of our universities believing crazy. Believing total crazy. That a letter written by William Myers, Sunrise Movement of Louisiana. That's what they do. If you ever notice the movements dealing with environmental, dealing with anything, always a bunch of young people. I'm going to tell you something else. I wonder how many of these young people are being paid to believe what they believe. Because that happens too. I watch the media. I'm convinced, and I told y'all this before, and when I told this to John Georges, he was insulted by me telling him this. I believe the media writes about this stuff with man-made global warming or abortion or whatever because they paid to. I believe there's grants out there for newspapers to go get that money only if they're willing to push the agenda of the left. And as most people do, they'll take the money. John Georges got his feelings hurt because I asked him the question of, are y'all taking money to write the stuff y'all write? Well, I just couldn't believe anybody believed this. So I thought, they must be taking money from some company or Soros or somebody out there to push this craziness on us. Because it's pushed every day in the newspapers now. It's pushed in the meteorologists. Still came by. I ought to mention the name of the meteorologist that said, well, back in, people kept asking him, why was it so much hotter setting records 100 years ago. Well, back then that was just was the weather. Now it's the weather and climate change. I thought, oh my God, they're making up stuff as they go. All right, that'll wrap up. When we come back, we have the gentleman, Kevin Roberts, the head of the Heritage Foundation. A little later in the program, Dawn McVeigh joins us. She's over 6 regions now with small businesses. Let's see how we compare with everybody else. Take a break. Be right back.
For the absolute best in local Cajun food, check out Prejean's in their 2 locations in Carencro and Broussard today.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station broadcasting from the Matthew James Financial Studio.
They're back on the Capitol Hill Grill. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Social media giants telling lawmakers about steps to protect children's safety online as Congress considers stepping in.
Senator Lindsey Graham didn't mince words when addressing Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg.
But you have blood on your hands.
Big tech CEOs from TikTok, X, Snap, and Discord also testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee about the, quote, online child sexual exploitation crisis. Zuckerberg tells the committee his company is taking steps to keep kids safe.
We have around 40,000 people overall working on safety and security, and we've invested more than $20 billion in this since 2016.
Senators are considering legislation that would establish guidelines for social media companies for minors using their platforms.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz on Capitol Hill. House Speaker Mike Johnson about to give his first floor speech as Speaker amid ongoing tension in his own party over border security proposals. FBI Director Christopher Wray calls China the defining threat of our generation, telling a House hearing there's a multi-pronged assault driven by the Chinese Communist Party and not just on political and military targets.
Our water treatment plants, our electrical grid, our oil and natural gas pipelines, our transportation systems, and the risk that poses to every American requires our attention now.
Wray says impacting American civilians is part of China's plan, in addition to stealing intellectual property. The heads of 2 cyber agencies also taking questions on the cyber threat from China. Meantime, 4 Chinese nationals are hit with federal charges related to smuggling U.S.-made electronic components to Iran. The Justice Department says the suspects orchestrated a more than decade-long scheme to get parts to the Revolutionary Guard Corps and the agency in charge of developing ballistic missiles and drones. America is listening to Fox News.
Don't let everyday aches and pains keep you from living your best life.
I don't think I really understood what people meant when they talked about pain until I started feeling it myself.
Start feeling better every day with Relief Factor, a daily supplement designed to support your body's fight against aches and pains.
Not only do I move better without pain, I just feel better.
Created by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that target 4 metabolic pathways to address pain. Relief Factor doesn't just mask aches and pains, it helps reduce or even eliminate them.
Today, I do the things I love, and it doesn't occur to me to think about pain.
You can feel the difference all day, every day.
Join the over 1 million people who have tried Relief Factor's 3-week Quick Start Kit. It's only $19.95 and comes with our Feel Better or Your Money Back guarantee. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
A Pennsylvania man is accused of murdering and beheading his father.
Police in Middletown Township, Pennsylvania say 32-year-old Justin Moan posted video of his father's head on YouTube and of himself claiming to be the Messiah. He says his father is in hell as a traitor to his country for working as a federal employee, encourages other relatives of federal employees to murder them as well, and offers $1 million bounty for killing top federal officials. Police were called to the home where the father's body was found headless in the bathroom and used a cell phone signal to find the son and his father's car about 100 miles away. That video was on YouTube for 6 hours before being taken down. Chris Foster, Fox News.
New York's governor says an assault on New York City police outside a migrant shelter is abhorrent. Fox's CB Cotton.
The officers being kicked, even stomped on, over and over. A police source telling me the men involved in this assault were migrants. A total of 5 men ranging in age from 19 to 24 years old were arrested on assault charges. So far, 4 have been released without bail, according to court records.
Police say there may be more arrests. A gift card scam leads to a class action lawsuit.
Visa is being sued by consumers who accuse it of failing to make some prepaid gift cards less vulnerable to thieves who carry out a scam known as card draining. According to the complaint, the non-reloadable debit cards can be opened by thieves who record the account information, then reseal the card without being detected. Thieves then monitor a website to learn when money's been loaded and make purchases using the stolen account information. The suit seeks damages for people who bought Visa-branded vanilla cards in New York and saw their funds drained. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
Stocks are mixed ahead of the Fed's latest take on inflation due 2 hours from now. Right now, the Dow's up 25 points. Lisa Brady, Fox News.